We're ready for the intro. Hello, beautiful audience. Whoa, well done, change that. I've got two webcams going at the same time. That's unnecessary. Guys, I have with me Saad from the Stipend project. You may know it as SPD. Don't be confused. There are two ticker symbols, SPD. This is the one you actually want. Or so I'm told. That's about right, right?
Yeah, I do hope so too.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna let Dire Technology and Katsusame into the live chat. Hello, guys. You are live. We are live on YouTube right now.
Perfect.
And for my BitTube peeps, I'm going to start the live stream right now. If you're just tuning in, then you're probably watching this stream on my BitTube channel, Mind Your Biz. Feels good to say that. So, guys, thank you so much for hitting the like button down below. Thank you so much for being subscribed. If you're new, coming from the SPD community, then appreciate you subscribing to the channel and clicking that bell icon so you're notified when new interviews go live. Remember, as a community, you're the reason that I do these interviews, that I schedule the time with these various founders, and we're very privileged to have more than one person in the live stream today. It is such a rare treat for us to be able to get multiple team members onto a live stream because we as a community can ask additional questions and better questions about marketing, about messaging, about tech, about utilization, adoption. We can ask all kinds of questions, and we have the experts all in one room. So, guys, if you haven't already hit that like button on behalf of SPD, please do. If you haven't already told them thank you for their time in the comments, then please do. But Saad, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Seth. It's a privilege, and well, I used to watch your streams and videos, and well, it's quite an emotion to be here.
Well,
it's like meeting an old friend that never knew about you. Like,
well, I'm glad you feel that way because that's kind of how I feel about it too.
Thank you.
I can honestly say that I have a problem with falling in love with projects that I interview, not like in a romantic way, like with the founders, but like with the actual technology, right? And the use cases where it's like, hey, that's great. You guys are really putting in work. And so I wind up becoming a little more biased after every interview. Looks like I need to admit Rampage. What will happen? Will Rampage come in and wreck the place? Let's see. Okay, so guys, we have a couple of additional interviewees on deck right now. And what I'm going to do is probably... Wow. So there we go. Having a little bit of an issue there. So, guys, why don't we start at the top side? It looks like some of your team is going to be able to possibly make it into the interview. Some apparently maybe having some technical difficulties. They're either slacking you or on Discord like, oh my gosh, I can't really do this.
Well, let's check what's going on.
Yeah, no problem. In the meantime, while we're checking with that team, can I just ask, this is kind of a preparatory question, I ask every project, when did the SPD team see a problem initially?
Well, the SPD team is a diverse team in a way that we're coming up from different perspectives and workplaces. Like we do have people in finance, in banking, we have people in technology, programming of some sorts, other people from managing businesses and being an entrepreneur on a daily basis. We even have a team member that was in the army, like allegedly in the army. Well, the problem that Stipend is trying to resolve is simply being a free marketplace for freelancers. Like we don't have technology that allows anyone to work on a daily basis and be paid as they should be. The client is paying more, the freelancer is getting less, and overall, we do see some sort of censorship in the marketplace. Like you can't work on freelance even though you need it because you have a job. Most of the cases, it end up being problematic for the current job you are at. I did have a friend like that contacted me a couple of weeks ago that didn't know that I have Stipend as a project on the crypto space. And he told me that he's trying to start in crypto, in freelance in a way, but he's struggling. Like at any one of our current competitors is just uh, putting up a fee or commission up to 20 to 50% of whatever you are getting. Like it's it's really painful. And other than the fee or the payment, we do have the processing fee, the processing time, because I'm looking at the same time at the team chat, trying to bring as much people as I can. Well, as I said, the processing time of the payment is quite large. Like you can end up waiting for your payments for over a month easily. But other than that, we do hope that Stipend will be more than a freelance platform, because we do have plans uh, for uh, for other applications that Stipend can get in pretty easily. We do have talks with some crazy partnership, like, well, the community could freak out if they hear the name of the partnerships we are talking to right now for a couple of months. And they do see the application not only on freelance marketplace, but for anything. Well, we could be a direct competitor to Uber. We could be a direct competitor to anyone dealing with housekeepers or anything related to hand work. And overall, we do see Stipend being one of the main platforms used on the side of Facebook or Twitter as something you could use daily to resolve any kind of issues your client might have, and be paid instantly in cryptocurrency. And then you can, of course, mitigate your payments and switch to USD or whatever, whatever you are comfortable with.
Yeah, very cool. So I'm going to do this. Let's do a quick screen share. I've got the Stipend website available in the background right now.
Yeah.
And oh no, I'm sorry, got price action. we were just talking about how this is not a good week to show price action on any crypto. Though I will say that in Stipend's defense, it's not as terrible as you might expect. It's really not that bad. There we go. I'm going to pop up in there we go, a separate webcam there. So it's going to look a little different to the audience than it does to your team.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm going to move, there we go. Just a little bit off to the
You
side
can press F11. F11.
Oh yeah. So I'm aware that I can go full screen there. But yeah, what I'm doing is just leaving the URL available so that the audience can see where we are. But right now, with Stipend, let's talk a little bit. First off, you don't have Particle.js on your main page. No Particle.js. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we can just end this interview right now. You guys are a scam. We're done. Okay, guys, go home. But this is cool. You've got this cool parallax element right here. Interactive parallax element. So I think it makes up for Particle.js. Fine.
Well, we do have Parallax.js like on the back end, but we did feel that it was too cheesy. Everyone is doing it. Like every website looked just like the other one. Like, we wanted something cool, like to show up. Like you do see the future of the web application that you would have. Like later on, you would just be able to take any job like with the touch of a hand, and we do aim to be as easily accessible and usable as any housekeeper that never had any education could click, get his money, and go to work. Like be located, have NFC enabled. So having just the platform right there and the main features with a text description is, well, it's quite good enough as it is.
Okay, yeah, I agree. More projects really should stand up just on the merit of the project and the problems that they're solving. But we're in a world where marketing still matters. So a lot of projects, you hit the main page and they want to impress. So you guys haven't failed to impress, even though you don't have Particle.js. I mean, you could add it still. Well, Particle.js mountains in the background. Just saying. That's why I'm here, to give free advice.
but still we do have something amazing coming up for the website, since we are redoing the whole website lately. And we are going for something way more advanced than practical GS. I will give you a sneak peek. I will give you a
Yeah,
sneak
very
peek.
cool. Well, let's talk about the initial formation of the project, the core team members, and where you started. I'm going to jump down to the team. I have images for Nick, Felix, Neil, and yourself on the title card for this interview.
Yeah.
So you've got you've got engineering right here, and on the same page as design and strategy, and then community management.
Yeah.
So John, yes, they are a one pager, but that's okay. That's okay. It's okay to have a one page website. It helps navigation. So what I was going to ask is, what brought the four of you together, and which initial problem did you see? Like, what was the itch that you wanted to scratch? Were any of you freelancers struggling with the current job marketplaces? If you could bring it down to just the simplest problem that you were trying to solve, what was that simple problem you were trying to solve? And really, who did it start with?
Well, the idea started with Felix. Felix is the guy responsible for the platform as it is. He's an amazing React.js coder, and he's doing an amazing job with both the back end and the front end. It's just amazing to see him at work. He was mainly complaining at first because we wanted to tackle project using blockchain technology for a while, but we didn't have a motive or real problem to solve, not just being another payment getaway like any other cryptocurrency, but to have something to solve, really. And Felix was complaining each time that he's receiving his payment delayed, like for a month or three, and always frustrated with the amount of commission he has to part away from. Like, if, for example, if he's receiving $100, he would end up with $50 or $60, which is just insane. Like, you can't lose that much amount of money just from a transaction, from a simple application. There is nothing special with a freelance platform. We are doing something new with Stipend, where we are introducing the Stipend Enterprise Edition. You don't see, for example, our competitors working with companies. Why? Because they have outrageous fees. For example, if I'm doing $1 million in freelance every year, would I be okay to pay extra, like 300,000, just for the platform that is dealing with interconnection? Like, it's way too much. It's way too much. But since we are doing a 0% commission because of the blockchain and so on, using only Stipend as a currency, because you could use directly USD or BTC or many other cryptocurrencies, but the main thing is, if you are using Stipend, you would pay nothing. Like, we would take nothing from you. Everything goes directly from the client to the freelancer.
Okay, so it brings up the question then: what is the governance model, and what is the monetization path for the project? I'm a strong believer in there being developer funds. I'm a strong believer in paying developers. Strong believer in having projects be funded so that they don't disappear after 18 months.
Agree. So I will finish the thought and then come back to this.
Sure.
So he was mainly complaining about the commissions and the delays, and then we came up, because we went to Dubai and we met with probably the biggest companies that are doing freelance in the whole region of Middle East. We are still in talk with them actually right now. They just need not a working product, but another product that we are working on the side, which is called Stipend Enterprise Edition. Like, it's a special edition of Stipend dedicated to the companies so that they can manage the influx and the numbers of freelancers.
Okay, so it sounds like then this is perhaps a white label solution that you will be selling to enterprise for them to be able to power the back end of their current operations and their current customer base.
Exactly.
Okay.
It will be probably priced later on, but for now they will be using it for free. let's come back to, to how the team is paid, because I do have this question quite a lot actually. Well, to, to, to be to make things simpler, um, uh, we do have 0% commission on Stipend. Any transaction coming up with Stipend is for free. Like, but anything paid in Stipend, in the platform Stipend with USD or BTC, have a fee, a commission from 5 to 10%. For
Okay.
example, if you are paying with USD, only the transaction and so on, you would be paying up to 10%. It depends on multiple parameters, but for now we are keeping the 10% as a price before testing out more during the beta. Any other cryptocurrency other than Stipend would be automatically commissioned with uh, uh, from 3 to 5%. We are keeping 5% on the notebooks right now until we are doing more tests to see how the budget and the influx of our main focus right now is to be able, so the platform will be able to sustain itself. Like, we don't need to make money out of the platform right away or right now. Like, the only thing we care about right now is that the platform would be able to sustain itself. We do have the model of embedding the platform itself inside of the blockchain, since we have our own blockchain and we are working on it, using smart contract model inside of our platform itself. Why the smart contracts? There is a whole debate about it. First of all, um, any company have a typo of freelance they are trying to recruit, because when you are when, for example, you have a freelancer, you would just replace it in a month or two, maybe 6 or 8 or 12 months, but you would be replacing him anytime. Like, and you have specific job openings for freelancers. This is really perfect for the smart contracts model, because companies can just write up the contract in a modular way, in a visual way, write up the contract how it could be with the freelancer, and just set up the contract that would be automated between them and the freelancer. The company won't even have to educate the freelancer. They would just show him the link of the organized freelancer.
Right. This makes perfect sense. You need to be able to streamline the way the user experience. Essentially, it needs to be user-centered design, and so much of
So
crypto is not user-centered design. It's not user-centered at all.
exactly,
It's very much towards like, hey, if you're into crypto, then you'll get it. If you're not into crypto, too bad.
don't get it. Exactly. So so this is the part where we talk, where everyone should ask. Well, everyone asks, how do you make money? Like, what is the business model of Stipend?
Right.
We,
Which
we
is,
will
I've
through.
had a couple of comments from the comment section. I'm going to interrupt you really briefly, but I've got a couple of
Yeah,
comments come in. One is that Stipend had a pre-mine. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. What was the percentage of the pre-mine? I'm sure this is public record, but I'm just asking.
Yeah, of course. Let me check. Probably around 2%.
Okay. Wow. That's actually very lean in my opinion. 2% is
Yeah,
not too much.
not a lot. Yeah, exactly. It was mostly for the, well, it was mostly used at first on the basis uh, of listing and the payments for anyone interacting with the project, like helping up with the development or managing the community, or, well, you know how it works. And but we ended up practically not even using anything from the pre-mine.
Interesting. So,
Like,
have you raised any
we
additional funds
used
from
our
outside
own
investment at
funds for
all?
a long time, like since month so far. We do know that Stipend will have a huge potential, because there is real developments going behind freelance
Saad, I'm getting intermittent breaks in your connection right now. Just so you know. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're on Wi-Fi or what the connection is, but starting to get intermittent breaks there. I'm noticing that Piotr is on the call as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you'd like to introduce us, what does Piotr do? other than ignore the audio of the call that he's currently in.
Probably, I think he's a community member.
Okay.
Yeah, Pure is a community member.
Who shared out the link to the actual interview to your community?
Well,
all right.
I shared the link with
Okay.
the team.
All right, fair enough. Hey, team, you're fired. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's a gross exaggeration of my influence. Don't even pretend that means anything. But so I apologize.
You hear me right?
How's that? Yes, I hear you. I hear you. Okay. I do hear you. There was a bit of a lag, quite a bit of lag before, and it's been intermittent where it comes back in pretty frequently right now. But let me ask in a more directed way for the interview. What specific problem did you have to solve first in order to get this project underway? In the minds of many of the developer community, a 2% pre-mine is not a lot of, it's really not a lot of pre-mine in order to be able to pay listing fees, but then also deal with the developer fund. Is there an ongoing developer reward, or in the coin? Is there an ongoing block reward in the coin as it's mined?
No.
Okay.
No. So far, there is no block reward.
Got it. Okay.
It might be implemented right down the lane later on, because the first problem we had to deal with. You do hear me right now? You hear me?
I'll let you know if I don't.
Seth?
Yes.
You hear me? Oh.
So I do hear you. I think there's a connection. There may be a connection problem on your end. I'm sorry. Are you on Wi-Fi right now?
Let me check.
Okay. Sorry, guys. This just happens every now and then. This is the beauty, but also the terror of the modern age, the digital age.
Well, I'm so far right now. I'm in a business trip. That's why, I'm not at home or at the office. So I'm quite far away, south of the country right now.
Okay.
I think you should hear me better right now.
No, I do. Yeah.
Perfect. So the main problem you would have as a community team or as a community overall is trust issues. I don't know how I could put it. Crypto right now is like the wild west. Everyone says it, but and no one describe how it's hard to be trusted at first. Like, how hard is it for anyone to show their true potential before ending up with a lot of comments or negativity. So the first problem we needed to have is because I do have multiple companies on the side, and I needed to well, as a team, we needed to convince ourselves to treat Stipend differently. Like, we can't be on the edge each time and try to defend furiously at each time we are attacked. You need to be pragmatic with it and think that since the community, since everyone in crypto was so much manipulated for so many years, and with the amount of anonymity everyone is having, it's so easy for anyone to succumb and just not trust anyone but themselves. So the main problem we had to deal with, nothing was technically difficult. We do have blockchain engineers, part of the team. We do have engineers when it comes to platform. We do have financial experts, dealing with anything related to Stipend expenses, and we do have personal funds, like we can inject on Stipend whenever we need, well, especially when there is a development fund to be had. And the main issue is convince anyone, that is not only the community, that you are here to work, like you are here to make a solution that the world will be proud of using, anyone would be able to use freely, and that's it.
Okay, phenomenal. So let me ask, as far as technological problems that needed to be overcome, and pardon my ignorance, I go into a lot of these interviews without doing a whole lot of study on the project in order to allow there to be a process of discovery. But is this project forked from another code base? If so, which one? Is it a fork or a clone, rather, of another popular code base?
It's a fork from Bitcoin, then from Peercoin, then there was then from Dash at last.
Okay, so is Dash then merged into the code base?
No, not really merged. It was mostly just forked, and we worked on our own code base from there.
Got it. Okay. So which technological problem did you need to overcome to start building the platform that you're building?
I would say we probably only had one single problem. Like the main problem we had is the draft time. I don't know if you know about it. Like there is an issue with probably 80% of the project right now, with the code source of code base of the project right now, is the draft time. Like, and it's easily manipulated if you know how you can do it. Well, the main problem we had is when we were attacked, for example, because the code base of Stipend was attacked probably twice. We had two intrusion in the blockchain that were fixed a couple of hours later on with a with a with a with a fork, and probably that was the hardest time we had to deal with anything technical. Like we needed to stay up at night, and well, it was probably 3 days in a row. Like we needed to stay up, check everything, every block that goes off, and see if everything goes all right, and try to hack ourselves the blockchain to see if it will be able to. Probably that was the hardest time we need to. For now, it's a straight sale. We do have feature implemented every week on the platform. Everything is done on the back end. We only have trouble since it's summer, so everyone is on vacation. So to get as much people on the front end as possible, but we only trust so little people there is. We do have probably five front end developers. I do think it's enough because not all of them can work at a specific time. Like we could have two, at max three people working on the project each week, and well, that's it. For now, it's a smooth sail. We will have probably difficulties later on to implement smart contracts and data hashed tables inside of the blockchain. So we could host everything inside of the blockchain of Stipend and only have a couple of instances just to make the ping less of an issue for anyone visiting the website or the
Got it.
platform.
Very cool. Very, very cool. So I'm gonna second what Sir John has said in the comments, which is that it seems like with a 2% pre-mine and without an ongoing developer block reward and without outside investment, there may be a real danger of underfunding development down the line. Because what you're talking about by way of creating functionality within smart contracts, it is a sound concept. And many members of my community are supportive, so far, vocally supportive of your project from what they can tell. But it does seem like there's the serious problem with potentially underfunding. And I've talked about this with other projects, as you've seen. You can't, code does not write itself. Even open source code does not write itself, right? So the fastest way to blaze a trail forward is with some kind of development fund. You mentioned potentially putting a developer block reward on, as part of the scope of the project in the near future. Is that Is that a serious possibility for the near future, or do you feel like you have enough runway to wait a while?
Now we do have enough runway to wait a while. We do, because lately we had that was pushing the developers. So the devs of Stipend to run mass nodes for the like this is on the and they are still pushing us to implement the block reward for the development. So we wanted this to come from the community. Like once the community trusts the developers, like the team, there is nothing that can stand by and stand by or just stop the development as it is. And we we do think that it might be implemented in the next fork if we are able to implement smart contracts and other functionalities that we are trying to build inside of the blockchain.
Okay, so it sounds like you want to hit a development milestone before you ask the community
Yeah.
to fund any further development. Hey, I can't fault you for thinking very fairly about it, wanting to maintain a great community relationship. So that's definitely a noble stance to take with building the community. We've got some other questions from the comment section that we'll get back to in just a moment, but I wanted to ask you, as far as upcoming problems to solve, it sounds like the big problem is implementing, the big development hurdle is implementing smart contracts into your blockchain right now. Is that about right? Is that the next problem you want to solve, or is there another pressing problem that the team wants to solve now?
Well, this is the next milestone. The first priority we have right now is to finish the beta of the platform, to finish the alpha, then go straight to beta as fast as possible, and start getting as much insight and feedback from the community and our partners that are waiting for beta. From that point onward, we will start a different project. Like we will be sharing the details as we go on. We will be focusing on each side of what we talked before, before the start of the live stream, and be able to start building the small blocks that we will be using later on down the line. For example, the UI and everything related to the mobile app of Stipend, how it can be used by anyone and as easily transfer money back and forth. The second milestone we would probably be spending some time on is the model. We call it the model of Coinbase, the model of get it in and get it out as fast as possible. Like get in, get your money, get your crypto, and go out. Like if you go on Stipend, you should be able to post a job or to get your money on one click, like from Stipend to any other currency, fiat currency, euro or USD in one click. This is also a milestone, but difficulty wise, I think it's probably getting the platform inside of the blockchain and implementing smart contract, because we would probably be the first masternode project having smart contracts running on the blockchain. Like we'll be the first.
Okay, very, very cool. So can I ask, in terms of, we'll get back to, in terms of the team and why they're with your team and some of the background, you mentioned that because this is, when it comes to technology development, as you know, I've got an interest in startup culture. I had a tech startup myself that was meant to do facial detection and do some kind of heady cloud stuff, and then have worked consulting other tech startups in the past. One of the biggest questions that's asked in VC panels and in accelerators and incubators is about team, right? There's a very strong emphasis on who's on the team. That seems to be even more important than the product, because if the team is perceived not to have the right skill set to be able to see it through to completion, then oftentimes there's not much faith in in the project itself, right? So as far as your team, what's some of the background and why are they with you now? Felix, you mentioned, was one of the first ones to experience the pain of like, okay, freelancing is very hard and I want to solve some problems there. But with everybody else, why are they still with the project, and how long, I guess, have they been with the project? What is their core skill set and core competency, and what do they add to the project? Why do they wake up every morning and think, I'm really excited to work on Stipend?
Yeah. Well, we as a team, we do have a certain bond of friendship, even though I don't believe that friendship and business goes on the side like on the same path. But let's start with each individual one so it's easier to follow. Nick is our main blockchain developer. He is an engineer in blockchain. Like he has he graduated in blockchain engineering.
I didn't realize that was possible.
Well, it is in California at least. So he is an engineer in blockchain. Like his job. That's why it's so easy for us to fix anything related to blockchain. Like in a couple of hours, we already have a fix, whatever the problem is. Nick is well. It's hard to give a fairly decent vision of someone in a couple of words, but I never seen someone as dedicated to a field as I've seen Nick. And believe me, I worked in many companies, like I managed over 100 people, and I see talents on a daily basis. And Nick was special. Like he could stay up working on a single problem for multiple days without any sleep, without not even checking his Slack or giving us an update on anything until it's fixed. Like he would disappear for a couple of hours.
He better be very good at commenting his code. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Agree. And I know that he do see the potential of Stipend. Like no, it will go huge, because the market is here. We are talking about $3 trillion dollars going every year in freelance, and every expert expects this number to double in 5 years to come. Like freelance will be something as simple as tweeting, something as mundane as going to the coffee shop to get something from it. And we do want to settle to bring the bar up and say freelance needs to go through blockchain. Freelance needs to be simpler. Freelance needs to be proprietary. We are building the platform from the ground up to have the perfect combinations of talent inside of the team, as you have said, to be able to solve anything that comes up in the next months or years. So this is a small sum up of Nick. Felix is the guy that he's worked in technology for multiple years, and he is now one of the most talented guys I know in coding, like in JavaScript or React JS, and he's damn fast. He would get anything done like so fast, and he is the one starting the idea. So he's the one that most believing in it because he lived it. Like he know how hard for any freelancer to get his money and work on a platform that will stay uh, equally decent for the client and the freelancer. Because if you go for one of our competitors, you would see that there is a disparity because of how the community would treat a freelancer and how it would treat a client. Like there is a big disparity in this regard.
Right, for sure. Well, especially the world the way it's going, there's so much outsourcing, there's so much freelance that's taking place. Agencies don't rule the world per se, but they do rule employment, it seems.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, agencies, especially for offshoring, are just huge. And as a trend, they don't appear to be going away. So it seems like in terms of a good place to be positioned by way of capturing market, the Stipend project appears to be well positioned there. Can I ask just really briefly, and pardon, I hope it doesn't make me seem like an old man, but a lot of the face of the team just looks very young. It does. So it begs a question. I know that they're going to be members of my community, members of the community that just ask, how seasoned are some of the developers on the Stipend project? What projects have they done before? What successes do they have? Because clearly, Saad, like you were mentioning, you've worked on other companies. You've got the management experience, right? You understand how to find talent, and that is a valuable skill. So clearly, you chose some of these team members, right? This was a call on your part, and you all continue to work together because of a choice to work together. What is some of the background? What are some of the wins that some of these team members have had prior to contributing to Stipend?
Well, let's start with Nick. I could start with myself if you want. Then
no, absolutely, and that's totally fair. I know sometimes you need to bring a team together based on the perceived merit of what they will contribute to your project, not necessarily all on their past history. I get it.
Agree.
But
no, yeah. there is decent, not decent, but there is substantial experience when you gather all the team, and as a manager or as someone that sees the whole picture, I needed people focused on their field. Like they needed to be the best on their specific task. Like a rocket, like it would go off and explode. That's it. Like it won't cook or anything else, but it would explode like better than anything else you would see.
Right.
So that's it. Like the team needed to be multidimensional. Like each person in the team needed to have its own field, axe to go on, and let the others deal with their own tasks. Nick, for example, had dealt with blockchain for over 4 years, I think. Like he had contributed with big projects. Like we won't be able, sadly, to bring names, but I do know from my experience, because he shared everything with me, that he worked on projects that are now valued for almost $1 billion. Like one of the projects you would see in the marketplace, in the coin market cap.
That's great.
And worked after, like he's bringing so much. That's why it's so easy for us to work when it comes to blockchain. This is for me one of the foundation of the project. Nick is the blockchain guy. Like you won't ask anything else from anyone. We even recruited people in the blockchain, and what I found is he was teaching others. Like I do.
Okay, I get it. I get it because I've had to hire before. And I've had to hire with that sensibility before. So I think I understand then specifically for Nick why you had to onboard him, why he's the guy that's right here listed under the team as opposed to being a contributor somewhere else or not receiving team credit.
Exactly.
So brilliant.
So even though the guys we recruited are over 45 years old, and at this time and at this moment, you would see, you will realize that experience doesn't mean engagement. There is a big difference between experience and engagement. You would have, for example, someone with probably 20 years of experience, but no real bon vouloir in French, no real attachment to the project or engagement. Like as you've said, if there is no engagement, the team won't last. If there is no substantial payments every day, like if you are not received your payday on a daily basis, you won't be able to sustain a fairly decent development on the long term. And Nick was the guy of the blockchain. Like I knew once Nick was here that we will be fine. Wherever it comes our way, when it comes to blockchain, we will be fine.
Very cool.
The next stop is one of the teammates are trying to access is Andrew, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did not allow Andrew in because I couldn't tell who was actually a teammate and I couldn't tell who was a community member. You need to ask your teammates to secure these kinds of things a little better next time. But Yeah.
No, because I asked you if you have, because you asked me to share the link with the community, but then the
Yeah.
password leaked,
Might
and
have might have been
that's
a
it.
misunderstanding. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think I meant the YouTube link so they could watch the interview. But
Yeah, I know.
I've got
I could change that actually right now, so new people, I could notify the community to go watch on YouTube directly.
that would be cool.
Yeah. So when it comes to Felix, Felix is the guy that we're doing freelance 24/7. Like he was working on multiple platforms. He was doing ERPs, CRMs. Like he was working on a high-notch level platforms with multiple people from over the world, and also dealt with a bit of management since he had a team and he had of freelancers that he needed to manage. And I knew that if he was in charge of the platform, we would have something great delivered. Like you probably saw the alpha, like the state of the alpha right now. It's pixel perfect. Like it's a top-notch platform that you would be proud to announce. Like now I'm trying to share a link with the community, so we are done with the question of.
Okay, so I've just brought Andrew into the chat. Andrew, how are you? I noticed you don't have a microphone up and running just yet, but we'll give you a moment. We've got a couple of notable Mind Your Biz community members in the chat as well. Guys, I'm here with Saad and with Andrew from the Stipend project. The ticker symbol is SPD, not to be confused with some other projects, because SPD.
The first using SPD. Like the crypto world is such an amazing place. I think the other project raised over $200 million and they weren't smart enough to check the ticker. Like, seriously.
It's stranger things have happened, right? I mean, the tickers can be really, really weird. We've had a couple of projects that have been asked in informal live streams to check out, and then the ticker was completely random, based as opposed to the name of the project, where you would think, why did they choose that ticker? Of all the possible acronyms, why did they choose that ticker symbol? Doesn't make sense sometimes.
There's two other SPDs. One was Speedcoin and one is Spindle, and it's pretty annoying, quite honestly.
Agreed. Andrew, first off, thanks for checking your mic levels. You sound great. You look like a wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. I'm actually at a. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I do hear you.
Yeah, I do not know why. I'm currently at a NGC computer, so I'm not sure. Maybe that's probably why. No, or my camera's busted. I don't know.
Okay. Hey, no worries. Here's the thing: the blockchain, we don't require cameras. It's a brave new world. We'll just pretend like Andrew is ANON. Andrew. Yeah, right. That's great to have you on the show, man. Thanks for popping in, and thank you for representing another part of the team.
Yeah, no problem.
And so Terry B says you're a ninja. Thanks, Terry B. You're probably right. So, Saad, with your permission, I'm going to briefly address Andrew here and ask Andrew, what side of the team do you represent?
Well, I guess I'm more of like a volunteer at this point, just helping out more or less, doing trying to write up white papers and whatnot, and whatever they need, basically. So yeah.
Very cool. So documentation, localization into say Kazakh, because it's a tough language.
No, just whatever. Because right now, whatever Felix or Nick need me to do, more or less, I just kind of do it. That's kind of the premise of what I am. I'm just a volunteer for the most part right now, though. Just a volunteer developer.
Hey, sure thing. You know what, though? Here's the thing. In blockchain and in open source, there's no such thing as just a volunteer. You, sir, you're doing meaningful work. Somebody in the comments says your handsomeness has blinded the camera. That's what happens when you contribute meaningfully. You become more and more handsome. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. My audience they're very complimentary, so get used to it.
Oh, okay, great.
But that's amazing. So you're doing a little bit of documentation then, and some of the white papers and readmes, etc.
Yeah, and sometimes when we need some things on the a website or whatnot, how about Felix and anyone else? Since I'm just a volunteer more or less, I don't have as much per se coding wise though, because right now Felix is the one really in charge of the platform development, and Nick is basically our primary blockchain developer right now. And as of right now, really focused on trying to get the mobile wallets out first, because the chain right now is more or less stable, and we just released the a web wallet, but we're really going to try to push for the mobile wallet, iOS first and then Android, since I think most people right now are using iOS, but to be decided, depends where you live, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just
yeah.
going to say that from a global standpoint, that is demonstrably false. 80% of the market is Android, but
Oh, my bad.
yeah, it's all right.
85%.
I'm sorry?
85%, I think. of the
Yeah,
market.
so 80 is just a conservative estimate. Yeah, but certainly in terms of developed nations, you do have a lot of iPhone penetration, iOS penetration within developed nations, which of course fits your target demographic. So I can understand from a business standpoint why you would target iOS first. Makes perfect sense, and yeah, especially your freelancers. I'm sure that Felix uses an iPhone.
Probably.
If I had to guess,
Probably.
Yeah, not entirely sure.
probably. So, I mean, he's scratching his own itch, and that's okay. That's totally okay from a development standpoint. You have to scratch your own itch, because if it doesn't work for you, then how could it work for anybody else?
Yeah, I agree.
So brilliant, Andrew. Thanks for that high level overview there, and a couple of painting a picture in broad strokes there. Really appreciate it. Of course, I've enjoyed a deeper dive with Saad up to this point, but it's nice to have counterpoint with the entire team, or with more of the team.
My bad. I'm looking at the sheet right now. So I'm in the United States currently, and yeah, you're right. Android in the US is around 53, and then iOS is 40-45. So
in the US, in the US.
Yeah. I would say it probably holds true for most air quotes developed nations, right? So most fairly wealthy nations are, it's a bit more evenly yoked in terms of market penetration. But yeah, brilliant. I've got a comment, Rackley. Make your own phone with an Arduino. Yeah, guys, go ahead. I don't think they're going to develop their mobile wallet for your Arduino phone. Get out of here with that. But so brilliant. All right, so it makes sense that you'd be going for the mobile wallet precisely because of who you want to serve with this product. Who would you say you're primarily serving now? Saad, you mentioned before creating sort of a white label backend for different listing platforms. Without naming names, I know a lot of us who have hired freelancers. We're familiar with whatever $5bucks.com, Fiverr, Upwork, some of these other platforms. Without naming names, if you can't name names, are these the types of platforms that you are targeting?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. All right.
Actually, we are going sideways from the market. Companies, for example, when we talked with one of the biggest companies in the outsourcing field in Middle East, the main issue was that we can't pay such fees for something we are doing on a daily basis. Like, it's not sustainable. And how can you help us doing international payments if it's possible? Because even though they are not trying to pay fees for example, another competitor, they would still be paying fees when transferring money from bank account to another, especially if it's offshore. And he ended up saying that he would rather pay the ticket, bring someone from India or from China or from Malaysia or somewhere else, bring him all the way to Dubai, put him somewhere like in an apartment or somewhere, and bring him to work to his client, and he will be even more profitable than going through one of our competitors. Like, just to give you an idea, like, he would go down all these issues, all this hassle, just to go on the side of using one of our competitor platforms. And when you see such devotion to stay out of any platform that deals with freelance, you know that something is wrong. It's deeply wrong with how the actual platform is implemented. This is why I do think that Stipend would have his golden age once Stipend Enterprise Edition is online. Like we would see tremendous amount of influx of money going through the platform, just with the fact that we are allowing outsourcing companies to use us not as a competitor but as a tool.
Okay.
So
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. Everybody wants that sort of like platform level functionality in crypto, but very few projects understand what actually incentivizes industry to adopt. So brilliant.
This is why we're having a back and forth talks till now. Like it's 3 months, and I'm sharing screenshots, sharing processes with them, just to get the feel of how they would want their platform to be. And for now, they are not even pleased. Like they do want a platform as soon as possible. And once, for example, we had some promises that they would start, for example, for a year with a 10% of their budget. When you do realize that they do over $1 billion each year, like 10% add up quite a lot.
Right. No, it's a great place to be, especially. I mean, and from a performance based commission, right? I mean, like it's nobody can argue with that. Nobody can argue with that when you're earning your keep. But on that note, I've been told in the comments that since we started our interview, SPD is up by 2 satoshis.
Oh, nice.
So we gotta keep talking. We gotta get the interview going another hour. It'll be up by like 5 satoshis by the time we're done. So
the market is weird lately.
Oh yeah. No, I wish I could take credit.
I'm looking at the price right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, totally. I can't. I wish I could take credit for any of the price action on any of the projects that I interview, but it's just not. I mean, there's so many forces, right? Who knows?
Exactly.
But brilliant. Let's ask just really briefly, in terms of mining versus masternode operation and block rewards and the roadmap or the path so far. Pardon my ignorance, but again, I don't know when your project actually began. Can you give me a timeline? What month of what year did the SPD project begin development, and when were you mineable, or when were you using proof of work, and at what point will the block rewards totally shift from proof of work, or have they already totally shifted from proof of work?
They've already totally shifted from proof of work to proof of stake and masternode. I believe that was on block 410,000 or somewhere around there a few months ago prior. And the project initially launched our first ANA on Bitcoin Talk was on February 10th. And then we officially had everything live a few days following, though. So yeah.
So the start of the blockchain was the 13th February. Like it's the start of the blockchain, but the development starts around early, like January, probably 5th January 2017. 2018. I'm saying 2018. Like a month and a half just to set up the demonstration, and the blockchain, the initial blockchain we worked with.
Yeah, and I apologize. I heard you call yourself Saeed.
Seth. Yeah, Seth. Like
Seth. Okay, got it.
Seth,
See, I overpronounced the second A. It's odd. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so sorry, proof of work ended at 210,000, my bad. I was thinking of block rewards for a second, but yep.
Yeah, block rewards are over. Yeah. Everybody pack it up, go home.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so and roughly what date was that the switch happened between proof of work now to proof of stake and masternode?
What was that, like 2 months ago, Syed, or something?
Yeah, I do have the date on a sheet. I'll pick that up, right?
I mean, it's probably material because masternode operators, they have counted the dates, counted the day. But as far as, let's talk a little bit about masternode operation and collateral necessary to operate a masternode for Stipend today. This is a little more tactical. As you know, much of my audience are mine operators, or in some cases, they're looking to diversify the sorts of blockchain rewards they can earn by being IT specialists. So whether it's operating a mine or operating a masternode on behalf of different projects that they support, how could they get started with Stipend today if they wanted to operate a masternode? How much collateral do they need?
Andrew?
Yeah, sorry. They need a 5,000 stipend for a masternode right now. So, yeah, there's a few. If you go to our Discord, though, there's a few shared masternode programs, and there's also and if you don't have enough collateral for a masternode, they can of course stake. I know StakeCube net also supports Stipend, but we really tell users to make sure they like research if they do go with a shared service prior. But yeah, 5,000 is for collateral for a masternode right now.
Got it. And so just really briefly, if I'm gonna do it. Sorry guys, I'm bringing up CoinMarketCap right here. We've got SPD, the SPD you deserve, not the one you expect. Wait, it's not right. What's the Batman quote? Who cares? So I've got the right
the
SPD
hero
right
you
here.
deserve or something like that. Yeah.
Well, this is the coin you deserve and need, I think. So the quote doesn't fully apply. But right here, we've got, it looks like about 15 cents, guys. So you do the math. Or perhaps I'll do the math. So we'll do 15.
Some high-speed calculations here.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. It's more than tree fitty. So you're going to have to dig deep into the piggy bank. Smash it. But I think you'll be all right. It's not going to break the bank.
Information, the 4th June. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got a
By the
couple
way,
of...
the mining...
Go
The
ahead.
mining ended the 4th June.
Got it. Okay. And so it sounds like if you don't have the requisite the requisite collateral right now, then like Andrew was saying, you can just begin staking whatever amount you currently have.
Yep.
So cool. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, a few people are saying it was higher than 15 cents when they last checked. Maybe I should refresh. Oh, you guys are right. It did go up, and actually in Satoshis, in atomic units. Haha! There you go. That extra 2 Satoshis, it helped.
Thank you, Seth.
You're welcome. That's why I'm here, is to just shill projects all
Look
the
at
time.
that market rise. Look at that market.
Yeah, awesome. And I got a couple comments in the comment section who are very happy about the current ROI. And so it sounds like in terms of a masternode, not a terrible project to evaluate more closely, guys. As you know, I do not give financial, legal, investing, or business advice, not unless you put me on retainer. So please do your own research. But as you can see right here, CoinMarketCap says some pretty nice things about the recent price action, as opposed to what every other coin is doing, which has just been a much worse roller coaster, in my opinion. You're seeing some stability here with
stabilized a couple of days ago, like a couple of weeks ago. Stabilized where actually right now it's a sea of reds. Like everything is red. Everyone is switching from any altcoin to BTC or USDT. But the problem is everyone's seeing other people switching, and they are just panicking and switching, even though they are losing money. It's downhill.
It's a very fear-driven market right now, especially when the entire market cap went under 200 billion, or was it like 170 billion a couple days ago? That was when the real panic started happening. But it's really beginning to rebound, at least in total market cap for cryptocurrencies. So.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. Very, very cool. I can definitely, it looks as though like the volume was maybe a little bit higher when you were closer to making the change from proof of work to proof of stake and masternodes. But I think this is kind of to be expected when there are major sweeping changes like that. You do get kind of interesting price action because people are excited about a change and riding volatility and riding FOMO, like you're saying. So, yeah. Thank you, Ivan, in the comments. You asked me to mention the SPD volume, and I think I just did. Guys, I'm not worried about what I'm seeing here by way of daily trading volume. We see fear-based markets do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Either pump volume or either bring volume down a little bit. I don't think this is a problem. So yeah, cool guys. Thank you for humoring me for a moment, taking a look at this. We're not going to dwell on this because by the time most people view this interview, everything will have changed. So yeah, don't get hung up on the markets right now.
Satoshi, buy a couple of Satoshi.
Right. Right. So awesome. So let me ask, as far as going with masternodes and proof of stake, in terms of consensus, are you confident that this is going to be the best way to move forward, securing the network and being able to prevent malicious actors from coming in to dominate the network or do cause harm? Or have you seen any threat vectors the way that proof of work coins, they live in constant dread of the 51% attack? Do you feel like the move to proof of stake and masternodes has eased that burden? And have you identified any other threat vectors that you think would be a good caution to other coin projects?
Well, we did actually had a fear when we were running proof of work. Like you do still have, and at some point I do remember that we had a pool that was BTS pool, I think, that was over 52 or 53%, and everyone was scared. I do remember the community; they were freaking out. Move away from this pool, like you would destroy the blockchain. And but since then, the network was quite stable. Like we didn't have to worry about anything. Everyone is mining. Everyone is mining to proof of stake or masternodes, and actually, it's quite relaxing when you switch to masternodes and proof of stake, especially if the blockchain is solid. Like if the blockchain is well implemented and optimized, and the community had the support it needed. It needs to go through the pain to set up your masternode or to set up your wallet if you have trouble with it. But once we switched, actually, we do feel pretty confident about the security of the network. But also any argument that can go against Stipend in the future, saying that it's a waste of energy or just for the hash rate or anything. So it's actually an eco-friendly way to mine, and I do feel it's the way to move forward. Like this is why Ethereum, for example, is going to the Casper project, like, to switch from the proof of work to proof of stake.
Yeah, I mean, well, hypothetically, it's going to Casper. We'll see when that actually happens.
Exactly, Casper. And but I do think that mining is here to stay. I don't think Bitcoin will be switching anytime soon. For example, it's an established project, and there is enough hash rate going all over the place. So 51 attacks is really not expected at this point. But I do also need to mention Bitmain for and thank them for, well, not thank them, but uh, but uh, just scream at them for destroying the spirit of mining these past years, and
Yeah.
they are not making it easy, especially when they implement ASCII. Even if you are ASCII resistant, they will develop their own algorithm for your own coin and not even release it until it's too late. Like they have way over 80% of your hash rate, and actually it's not in line with the blockchain spirit, with the crypto spirit, as Satoshi first stated it, as a free market, as anyone could drop a couple of coins with his laptop. And
Yeah.
well, as long as Bitmain is operating in the mining industry, mining would never be safe. That's my personal, not the team or anything, but my personal take on the question of mining.
Yeah, no, brilliant. A lot of my community, as I mentioned before, they're mine operators, especially GPU mine operators. And so we've been looking very closely into projects that offer alternate GPU compute bounties outside of blockchain, because there's so many GPUs that are in the market, millions, tens of millions of GPUs that are in the market, primarily for blockchain application for doing mining. But frankly, they're not even the best platform for mining. ASICs really are. I mean, they're custom built just for mining. But these GPUs may be used in some other way that might even wind up being more profitable. So yeah, seeing projects that go a different direction, can't say I blame you. I think that, as you mentioned before, with Casper on Ethereum, most of us have viewed this as inevitable. It is the direction of blockchain to seek entropy, right? Either the lowest power state, or or the least resistance forward, like ASICs. So awesome. So a couple more questions that I think are these are the most important questions. And if you watched my interviews before, then you're probably prepared for these. But the one of the most important questions, kind of serious, and then the next one is especially serious. But 5 to 10 years from now, as you know, anything can happen, and I know that you're aware of this from having worked in business before. Sometimes market forces are outside of your control. Sometimes just everything changes, and there's no way to know why. But 5 to 10 years from now, heaven forbid, but the SPD project is just over somehow. Maybe it's acquired. Maybe it's a happy ending, right? Maybe you're acquired and you have an exit. But 5 to 10 years from now, looking back on the work that you're doing and the team that you have and the project as it stands now, what would you want people to remember about Stipend?
Well, it's like imagining a happy, innocent fish in a sea of sharks. Like Stipend is the fish trying to make his way up, while everything else is a shark ready to eat anything coming its way. People would just remember if on my take on this is, if people can remember something, is how the team is dedicated to the community without even being funded, how the team is doing whatever it can on a daily basis, because the community knows it. We are present on a daily basis, maybe a little bit less than before, because we do have, sadly, we do have lives, and we do need to move right now. Like, we do have business opportunities with partners of Stipend, so we need to travel, we need to see people, but they can probably remember how the team has been supportive to the community, how we are doing things the way we've always dreamed a project should be, like open, free, and most importantly, transparent. Like, if a team is transparent with its community, there is a relationship that can't be broken. Like, not even the price fall or anything related to external factors, but invest in people. This is what I say to anyone working with me as a partner, or or a higher management position, is you need to invest in people. And if you invest in people, you would never go wrong. Even if you are out of money, you do have people. That's the most important factor I think people should remember about Stipend.
Brilliant. Well, definitely appreciate that. Let me ask, and I wasn't expecting this, but the audience has asked a couple of additional questions that I think are worth asking now in the interview. And typically, yeah, they try to ask their questions a little bit earlier in the interview, so I'm sorry, but what they're asking is new website, any news regarding exchanges or large investment, and then any follow up with some of the community oriented conversation that maybe members of your community have been waiting to hear a reveal on, and maybe they thought that in this interview they'd get that reveal. Any big news for Stipend by way of exchanges or investors?
Well, investment-wise, we had received, as Andrew can confirm it, we did receive a couple of investment. We did receive $1 million for 5% of the platform, not the blockchain. And they promised they would invest in the exchange as it is to bring the price up. But any investment taken would come up with strings attached. If you sell right now, you won't be able to accomplish anything related to what you promised to the community. we want to keep control as much as possible, so that and the community knows it. Like if they propose anything to any one of the team members, anyone can respond favorably and probably take it into account and implement it later down the line. And we won't have this freedom once we go legally legally inside the dilemma of being invested by a company or hedge fund.
Right. I can say as a consultant also, when there's a company that has given a significant amount of equity early on in exchange for investment, that's a red flag to
Exactly.
actually to future investors and to the community if there's too much equity surrendered early on. So I think I understand your reluctance to jump right into it and say, yeah, we want all your money. Go ahead and give us, your millions, and then surrender control.
Smart money against greed money. That's the whole dilemma. And if we will probably raise funds to stipend the project, the platform, just to get it further, but it needs to be smart money, like people that can really impact the development of the platform, people that we need, like inside of the board, like they can probably have the right numbers, they can call, they have the right connections, they have the right teams that can support us legally or financially. There is a whole structure that you need to take into account before accepting or even discussing not partnerships but investment. Uh, I just had a talk with the partner again, like a couple of hours ago, and we do have a big partner coming in. Like we have been teasing.
Can you talk
this
openly
up.
about it? Can you talk openly about it, or is it too soon?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I could say that one of the major known currencies in the market, in the top 10, had dealt with this partner. Okay. The problem they did is that they went the same route we are going through right now. They talked to a regional brand of the huge brand. They talked to the regional brand, and what happened is that they started talking about, even though it wasn't confirmed in the higher management team, like it wasn't even talked with the higher management. So once they shared the first press releases and the couple of comments they saw on YouTube and such, once it started running wild, they shut it down like instantly, and they shut it down with a string that there will never be any deal with this company because they haven't respected the first amendment of not talking about a partnership before having everything lined up, because they need to take something from us. Like we know that they will take a lot of things from us, and we will also take things from them. But it needs to be organized. We're talking with companies, not other crypto projects that would announce a partnership at any second. And anything that goes beyond, and as we talked with with the community, is it's one of the 10 top tech companies in the world. It's not it's not a small company that we can deal with easily. There is multiple layers of people we are going through right now, like slowly but steadily, and everything looks promising. And we know we will have a deal, wherever it is. We will have a deal, like we will have our name with the partner. But we are trying to get the best out of the deal.
That's great.
That's all I can tell you.
That's great. Can I ask an approximate timeline for the community to expect news, to expect a concrete announcement? Ballpark timeline?
Well, it doesn't depend on us. Like it depends on the partners. Well, I just talked to the guy, like my main connection, and he is the guy responsible for partnerships in the region of Africa, like in general. There is any Middle East and Africa. If there is any partnership that's going to happen, he is the guy. And his response was simple: give me more time. I need to convince, because I give my own terms. Like I will not accept anything. Like I have my own terms. As a team, we want to take the best out of this deal. and we won't go back. Like we won't back off. Like we want to take it all, and we will take it all. The guy is just asking for time. I hate myself when I force something like this because it's like begging for something, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Like I would rather wait for him to come for me, but since the community is pushing it so hard, as if we will 10x once it's announced.
Stranger things have happened. I don't know. Maybe in their minds. Yeah.
Exactly. Like the most profitable thing we can do right now for this stipend is to convince people that we are a real project, not a project in a garage. Like, for example, we are doing exhibitions like on a 6-month basis. We were on Dubai. In October, we will be in Malta on Delta. I just talked to them this morning, and they even offered to one of the team members to be a speaker on this event. And this event is you are speaking in the speaking board. You have the Binance president, CEO. You have Wikipedia creator. So it's not simple. Like it's not simple to be part of this board of speakers, and yet we were invited to and it's confirmed, and I can talk about it. But when it comes to the partner, we should be a bit more cautious.
Makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay, awesome. So no big news right now. Other than that, you are actively working on that partnership. That's great.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the question from a lot of community members, and from my community so far, is how can you assure the community that that you will not, as a project, will not die, right? That's the imperative, the business imperative, that you have plenty of runway and development funds to be able to succeed in achieving and executing that vision. But it sounds like you're working on it. So
exactly.
Awesome.
Not even working on it. The team is active. Like a couple of us are working, a couple of us are having their own businesses, and we do know that SPD will succeed since it has the right people in it. Like the people that won't take from stipend before it's time to take from stipend. And that's it, actually. Stipend has the right team. That's it. That's the thing that will ensure stipend success.
Okay, awesome. Well, then let me ask one last question that I think it's the most important question. It's very serious. And I think I know what you're gonna say, Saad. So I'm gonna ask Andrew. I'm gonna go where I can get a yes. When are you guys gonna pay me the 25,000 SPD coins you promised for this interview?
What?
Well, pardon me.
Okay.
I cannot recall this conversation.
The words are, I have no recollection. I kid. So guys,
I did not inhale.
Depends on what is, right? So, hey, for the community that's just checking in, from the stipend community that's just checking in, maybe you haven't seen any of the interviews that I do before. I do not accept and I do not require bounties for these interviews when working with coin projects. Having the transparency and being able to talk about the projects is, in my mind, reward enough, because the community deserves better than what we normally get. Normally, as you know, exchange listing fees, wallet listing fees, they're extortion practically.
Yeah, that it is a struggle. It is a struggle. If you look at CB just raised their exchange prices. They just doubled them basically because they know they can get that. And all of the major exchanges that we're trying to talk with right now, those fees, man, they're quite something to stomach.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. A community member just said, "Hey, Seth, 25,000 SPD, you're cheap." Guys, that's 5 masternodes. Come on.
You deserve more than that, Seth, and you know it.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. This I feel like, though, is, as a community service, is something that needs to be done. So if I can shill my own show, is that a thing? Is that possible? Anyway,
you can shill anything nowadays.
If I can self-promote just a little bit, I've been doing this as a community service. I have not accepted a bounty to date. The Loki team, they teased me and said, "We're going to send you one Loki, then your record is shattered." But But no, I don't accept bounties. Don't extort bounties from projects because, as you know, there's so many other problems that these projects have to deal with that paying a really high bounty to be on a show where we ask questions is they couldn't. I mean, your projects wouldn't be sustainable if every single person that you wanted to do an interview with or wanted to have you on stage asked you for even just a small amount, like what I asked, 25,000 SPD. Before long, that pre-mine would be gone. It wouldn't take long at all. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't like. I understand the economics of you guys getting up and running, and on the flip side, if I'm accepting bounties from projects, then how can I ensure or assure the community that I'm taking their questions seriously and that I'm willing to ask you any question that comes up? They wouldn't believe
Being
it.
transparent with your community.
Yeah. So, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. As far as the community being able to reach out and continue the conversation with the Stipend team, what is best? Telegram, Discord, Twitter?
Discord is the best. We're probably on Discord like 24/7-ish. At least like someone from the team is trying to be on there. Because you can on Discord, you can check out the core team devs, community moderators on the side, and we always try to be active there and answer any questions. And like also anyone to the community, you can DM us. Like we're open to answering any questions. And we don't really care about the criticism so long as we can try to convince people and tell them our side of the story though. And also just for people to know, we post bi-weekly updates on Medium and on our website though. So, you always check out those too. But yeah, Discord is probably the most active we're on. And we also post on Twitter and Telegram and Reddit too, but Discord's where it's at.
Awesome. Hey, I couldn't agree more strongly. Discord is just a far better platform for engagement. Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys are getting all the thanks down in the comment section. Guys, be sure to smash that like button. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button if you are new to the community and clicking the bell icon. Be sure to check out Stipend. I'll have a link in the description to their Discord, but then you can also go to their website. I'll just pop it back on screen one more time so you can see that their website is stipend.me. It's stipend.me. Not a .com and it's not a .io. It's stipend.me. So you can start there.
Being a freelancer is personal.
That is very quotable. So that may be it. So awesome, guys! Appreciate having you on the show. Thank you so much for your time. I know we went over an hour, but you've been very generous with your time and just absolutely. From what I see of the project so far, I wish you all the best. It looks like you're really onto something that is an underserved market and that is huge potential upside. So bravo! Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day, Seth.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Good grief, man and participants. Okay, now I'm like, all right, end meeting, guys. Thanks so much. We'll reach out to you soon.
Thank you, Seth.
Yep.
See ya.
Have a good day.
Alrighty. So hey, community, wanted to just say thanks so much for tuning in and close the show. I realized that I haven't been doing this in a while. I've been staying with the project instead of doing a proper sign off on my own show. To the commenters, thank you so much as usual, Roderick, BTG Joseph, Rackley, Plago Dapple, and Ivan. Thank you. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the show. And then the usual suspects, Terry B. Everybody else from the Mind Your Biz community, be sure to join us over on Mind Your Biz on Discord. We have phenomenal conversations. This one was suggested by our moderator and chief ambassador, Corey Round. So guys, be sure to thank Corey on our Discord server because this one has been on his radar for a while. So guys, appreciate you. You know who loves your face, right? This guy. I'll see you next time.